welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello, Trevor.
Been a while.
No, it hasn't. It's been the normal amount of time.
It's been a while since I've had Canadian Club, and I've already finished my drink.
Yeah. We're both drinking up tonight, so it's going to be a fun one. And what are we doing tonight, Trevor?
Well, I've set phases to random phrase.
Ooh.
So
okay,
we're doing
set
ramped
phrases.
Up. Yes, set phrases to random phrase. Yeah. I thought, let's just do a ramped up click pitch today. So, ramped up click pitch is a game where we each have a random phrase generator, and on the count of 3, 2, 1 click, we're going to get an adjective and a noun and just put them together and see what happens. See what sort of game design we can come out of that. Like, is it going to be VR? Is it going to be horror? And I'm kind of thinking that it's nearly Halloween, so yes, it should be horror.
Ooh, maybe.
Because this should actually come out around Halloween if everything goes well with the 300 episode. And
that's true. Yeah, it'll come out on Halloween, I believe. Yes, Monday, the 31st. Good. This is our Halloween episode. It is done.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, click.
Cool.
Crawling royal.
Shaping parentheses.
Parentheses. That's a shit word for a game design. That's all right. We'll work with it. Shaping. Okay. I mean, I'm definitely getting some sort of monarchistic body horror vibe. Maybe maybe in the title of our game we use parentheses.
Parentheses.
It's like zombie king parentheses the last rights of King Harold. I don't know. I'm just trying to get parentheses out of the way so it's not on our mind for the rest of the game.
We can do whatever the fuck we want because it's our fucking game. Crawling,
it's our
I love
podcast.
that.
Crawling is good. I've definitely just got the idea of like some shape-shifting creature crawling through a throne room.
Okay, you play the shapeshifter.
Ooh, okay.
Like, so you get to, Hitman-esque, but.
Oh, okay. And maybe you're working your way up to the throne to take the throne from this kingdom.
I really like the idea of like a stealth assassin game, but you're literally creeping along the ceiling and like, and you see someone and you can literally shape change into them, murder them, and you're now them. Like,
but it only lasts for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And before you start essentially kind of melting back into your like goo form.
Yes.
And so you're having to body hop, at fairly regular intervals.
Yeah.
And if you are too far gone, then you have to be better with the stealth parts because otherwise it would be obvious that something's wrong.
What was that moving in the corner? It might be the blob. It might be that guard over there. The guard that wasn't.
It might
that
be
literally
that blobby
just
guard over there.
That literally just wasn't standing there, but now he's kind of blobby and guardy.
I like the imagery of like someone walking around and then like their hand just like plops off and turns into ooze on the ground, basically.
Yeah,
and they have to, and as long as nobody was watching them, it's fine. Although people might wonder about it or slip on it. Maybe you can use it as a mechanic. Like, you can purposefully, like, pull off a part of yourself. It'll make you more obviously, like, not the person you were shape-shifting into, but you can have someone, like a guard, slip on it and fall downstairs.
Yeah. Okay. So what I like about this game so far is that, it's got some comedy parts. It's got body horror, which is one of my favorite types of horrors, just because of how fucked up it is. But
I just had an image of someone like you've shapeshifted into like someone in a suit of armor or like at least a helmet, but they're going goopy and they lead forward and their face just starts like
Slides
melting
off,
out of the
yeah.
front of it, like melt like out of the holes in the helmet, right? Like gooping.
No,
out.
I thought like the whole, even the helmet would elongate, because that to me seems a little bit more uncanny valley. And again,
that's cool too. Although it was more about just the goops coming out of the helmet. But yeah,
it depends. I mean, did you hide as goop in the in the suit of armor in the hallway? Maybe. Okay. So, graphics-wise, I'm thinking, because we've been playing a lot of Fortnite lately, I'm loving that cute, colourful sort of thing with just a bunch of, like, I suppose because it's also got the chrome blob now.
Oh, that's what's... Okay. Yeah, I definitely wasn't thinking that. I feel like you lose your kind of horror...
Oh, no, but it's like,
aesthetic.
It is full-on 1980s The Blob with, like, if you see the blob up close, you actually see like the floating skeletons and shit in it. Like,
okay,
it is fucking gross. Like,
right,
but it's
so
colourful.
Is there
there's a good juxtaposition.
Is there an aspect of like managing your mass as well? Then,
yeah,
like you swallow someone, you have more mass.
Yes.
You have to shapeshift into a larger person until you use some of these techniques where you're like leaving parts of your blobbiness behind, and
maybe you're leaving that part of your blobbiness behind as a trap. Like,
traps from your own body is kind of cool. Yeah,
like someone, steps in the puddle of blob, their foot starts melting straight away into it, and but you gotta be very careful because they can scream, but they can cause also a distraction, so you can like consume the king.
Yes, consume the king. That's what's in brackets in the title. Consume the king.
A boy in his blob, consume the king.
Boy in his blob. What are you vulnerable to? Was it fire or ice that the actual blob was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah. I feel like in this it's maybe both though. I feel like you're flammable to a degree.
A song of fire and ice.
Yeah.
Seems
a blob
familiar.
Of fire and ice.
Blob of fire and ice. Game of blobs.
Blob of Thrones. Like, we're already doing the thrones.
Consume the king.
A blob of thrones, a blob of fire, and we put too many blobs in here now. Consume the king. Cool.
A blob of blob and blob.
Blobby blob blob. Brackets.
Consume
blob,
the blob.
Blobby blob. Consume the blob. All right, 3, 2, 1, quick. Assorted bread.
Depressing duck.
Seriously? We got bread and duck? Oh my god. Okay, this is fun. I don't know how we go horror other than like existential horror about your own existence.
It's literally
was
it's so depressing.
Duck?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not depressed. He's depressing other people. Like,
oh, these people come to feed this duck and they're just like, oh, this fucking duck's getting me down.
pretty much.
Why is this duck so like shit? It's just making me depressed.
Yeah.
Sad duck.
He's a real...
Wait, is the duck sad or is it just like...
He's depressing. Like, he literally...
to the point, like, disappointing.
I think it's just... I know, it's just a vibe that you get off him, that he's just... it's just a vibe.
It's the vibe of it. Is this a bit like Goose Game when you play this duck and you're just going around depressing people in different environments?
It could be. Or it could just literally be that, he lives in a lake. People come to feed him bread. And that's the start of the game. And your whole idea is...
If you're already depressed and you just eat bread, which I totally get, doesn't help.
No. Just makes you bloated.
Yep. So is this sort of the story set around this, like, lakeside and with different characters coming and maybe?
Yeah, and no one expects the duck to be the murderer. Like...
Okay, I guess we are trying to do horror.
I mean, I'm going to take it there that it's basically this unassuming duck
Yep.
is actually, you know...
It's like a psychic murderer.
Yeah,
It like causes people to want to take their own life.
pretty much. But it's through, like... And again, I don't know, why do I always want to be playing the monster rather than playing the playing the people? There's just something about it, like, you know, what can you actually put into these people's brains to make them
Well,
want to drown themselves in the pool in the
Maybe
pond.
you're not playing the duck though. After all, maybe you're just kind of almost you're an omnipotent or a omnipresent viewer, observer of this. So you don't actually play a character as such, and you're watching these sort of scenes, these relationships play out. Maybe you're making choices of dialogue or something, or maybe you are just controlling. Maybe you are just controlling the duck, but it's just about where you are. Like, you're just picking up bread, floating around. But as you play, you figure out, the closer you are to a particular person, the more depressed and self-hating their dialogue options get. So it's almost just like a branching narrative that you discover some control over as you play.
Ooh, there is something to it in the fact that if you just leave it be and you're a duck just swimming around picking up the bread, nothing really happens. And it's just a normal conversation in that case. It's only when you kind of get close or pick up, like, they're throwing some bread closer to them, and so if you go to get that, maybe like there's maybe certain dialogue that's triggered by you doing something. And then I think that's the first part of the game. The later part of the game is that, I don't know, maybe the duck is getting some sort of perverse joy out of this, so the duck starts...
Every night the duck goes back to their duck spouse and tells them about their day. That conversation gets darker and darker every time. But the first time it's like, someone drowned themselves in the lake today. Well, they're just after feeding you bread. It's like, oh my God, are you okay? That's so horrible. Yeah, it was really hard. And then, like, the fifth time it happens,
I couldn't swallow my bread.
I did it again.
Then I did. Like, and then this time, I may have nibbled on his ear for a little bit. Tasted good.
Oh, God. Yeah. I do like the idea of the horror duck. The suicide thing is
dark.
Is a bit on the dark side.
A little bit too dark for us.
Maybe. I wonder if there's just... You lure them in somehow.
To eat their face. Because it's...
Yeah, and then it's the gore. Then it's like the over-the-top kind of goriness of, like, you start consuming the people.
Yeah. So just get rid of the depressing part, but it's more the duck itself is...
I do still like the idea, though, of having some effect on the dialogue, depending on just your mundane duck life. At least to begin with.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah. Unavailable social.
Crude void.
Ooh.
There's something about void that just... You know what I never understood in houses? And I'm going to talk about this. Like, a house that has, like, a void. Like, as in a section...
That's sort of multiple stories.
It's multiple stories, room, and then, for some reason, this single room, it doesn't have floor above it. Like, that room really should have floor above it. Now, the reason why, in some of these houses, why they don't want to actually build the floor out is because there is actually, like, an interdimensional space in that void. It's just you normally can't get to it.
Okay. All right, I've got some ideas around that. I also want to bring up my first thought, which was a dating app. Like a Tinder sort of vibe. And just the horror opportunities around that. But wait, because I like your idea that I don't think it's intentional that the houses are built with these voids there. It's almost an instinctual thing.
It's an unconscious decision from the builders to go
that we can't actually fill this space.
You know what? Oh, the architect goes, you know what would look good here? A void. Like, literally, we just...
Yeah.
You can look up and you see a balcony and it's like, oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. But you yourself, you know, I like the idea of you bring your dates back to your house. And this date that comes back goes, this is weird. What's this space
It's just this weird
like,
one spot. Yeah.
They're going, oh, you know what it is. Like, you're in the... You take them back to the bedroom.
Okay.
And they lay down on the bed and they look up and there's literally a void and balcony all around and they just go, What the fuck is that?
It's like nothing's holding it up?
No, as in, you know, the room above, because it's a 2-story place, the room above, for some reason, has a void right above the bed.
Oh, I see. And this back, so it looks like it's like a viewing platform.
It's like a viewing platform, and they go, what the fuck, dude? And
it's like, no, it's just a void. It's fine.
It's a void. Like,
the house has a void. Houses have voids.
Houses have voids. And
you've never seen it on a plan?
And it's like, yeah, I have, but this is fucked up, dude. Like, do people watch? It's like, no, there's no one else here.
No,
like,
people don't watch.
And it's like, in fact, I don't even know how to get up to that balcony.
Yeah, I've never really
thought about it. Like,
thought about it before, actually. Now that you say it, I've never been up there. Never seen anyone up there.
In fact,
most of the time I don't really think about it.
And then you remember seeing in the very first, like, the opening shot of the house, there wasn't a second story.
All right, Doctor. Literally just watched that episode with James Corden.
Yeah,
weirdly.
That is weird. No, I wasn't thinking about that, but yes, now I'm...
I knew you probably weren't initially, but it immediately reminded me of that.
There's something about, like, being able to put it together about, oh no, there wasn't a second story to this place, and, like, we haven't seen any stairs up or anything like that. Do you play the Tinder date? Like, the person who's come into the house, like...
Yeah, maybe. So I'll just take a step backwards, and we don't have to pivot, but just to sort of describe what was on my mind, I was actually thinking that some sort of Ghostbusters-y thing where, like, people are going into different houses and the void is, like, that's always the source of, like, paranormal activity or something. And that maybe you're, like, using the dating app to find... Either they're trying to find you, or it's a dating app. It's not actually... It's a dating app for, like, finding paranormal investigators. Or it's just that you're using that to... like, you're just looking in the background of all of the photos of voids in people's houses. But anyway, no, that's fine. We won't do that.
I do like the idea of, like, this is the first void that you've ever seen, and when you actually clear this void out, like, you realise that... Oh,
that leads you then to...
Yeah, and then you realise, oh, you know, I have an uncanny ability that no one else seems to be questioning these things. So you take it upon yourself.
So you start going through real estate listings and looking at the house plans.
Not just real estate listings, but you may go through Tinder and you go, oh, this person took a photo in their bathroom and their bathroom has a void. Their bathroom
has a void above the toilet. Just like a little balcony.
And it's so, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be balconies, just the fact that it's like...
It just opens up above, just...
It opens up above to an unnaturally high ceiling that
right.
It's like cathedral level high. You know, it's there can be sometimes some Gothic architecture and that sort of stuff, and people literally not calling it out, but like you could make some of these like really fucked up, like
yeah, that could be cool. I like that uncanny vibe of like uncanny architecture, essentially. This like,
I love the idea of you see it when you first walk in and it looks normal until as you get to a certain point, then you know the void starts to appear and like. And almost become this huge unnatural position. And if you go out from under its influence and you don't see it anymore, and it's like, oh, there's just something.
You could do some interesting effects there, yeah. Yeah.
We could take it down into like a darker sort of, some sort of infestation or something like that you've now got to clear out and.
Yeah, almost like it as a kind of almost like a puzzle game version of Ghostbusters, where you have to figure out, well, I can see the void from this direction, so knowing that you have to like either find your way up there, because you can't actually just get up there. There's not, like you said, there's no stairs or whatever. But if you get into the ceiling to, you know, through the outside, whatever, eaves and climb a ladder to where that void is, if you are looking at it from the inside, then, you know, you can like shut it down in some way or like...
Yeah. Or you get a ladder and you go up into it from underneath.
Right, and it just takes you essentially like through a dimensional window of sorts.
Now you're in like a whole nother level of
the palace.
It's like it's a whole
dimensional
nother level,
palace.
It's a whole nother level to the house that doesn't physically exist. That you could, you know, maybe have to
right.
maybe have to actually find something in there. And it's like the first couple that you go through, you're literally finding pieces to a map or something like that. Like,
or I wonder if like the person has said they think like their bedroom is haunted, right? But that's not where the void is. The void is out in the kitchen. But you go up into the void and across, like, through the architecture of this other upper level to above where the bedroom is. And it's like, oh, that's where you're going to find a ghost who has been banging around up there. You know, that all of the sort of poltergeisty type stuff is ghosts in this other...
What if it wasn't
sort of
what if it
voided
wasn't
sections of the
a
house?
ghost? What if it was a previous occupant of the house that was trapped up there? Oh, they got
trapped up there. Okay. So you're saving people from the void.
Sometimes you're saving, but then what trapped them? And that's the question that you should have been asking all along, because that shadow that you've sort of maybe been seeing out of the corner of your eye
that you thought was just a graphical artifact.
Just a graphical artifact that looked like a shitty shader. It wasn't a shitty shader. It was on purpose. There was shader artifacts.
Okay, now I just love the idea of using graphical glitches to eventually actually be part of the game. Like you see like Zed fighting on a wall or something. It's like, oh, this is a shittily built level. Oh, no, that's on purpose. That's like a haunted wall. It's actually two walls.
It's actually two
you're seeing
walls.
Through the dimension.
You are literally seeing right now into the palace.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that it's called the palace. Like, it's all just different floors of this one overarching...
It's one building in this other dimension. Like, it's the only building in this dimension. If you look out the window of the palace,
it's just more building.
See...
Yeah, labyrinth.
Well, maybe.
You see a labyrinth.
Okay, I was going to say it's just like endless nothingness. It just feels like this one super tall building is just in this...
I tell you what.
Empty desert.
The movie by Vincenzo Natali, Nothing, which we have both seen.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot find that anywhere because...
Comedy.
Try to find a movie called Nothing and good fucking luck. Because...
you must be able to just look for Nothing... like 2002 or whatever it was.
God damn, that was a good film. I fucking love that film.
Yeah, I having these images of it now. They're like trapped in a house and there's nothing around them. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah,
and basically they were originally under a freeway and people coming to try and clear out the house, and then they wished them away. And
and then it's just them like experimenting.
It was
with
like
all this.
wish the world would just disappear, and it's like it's just their house then. And
fuck, now I want to watch that again.
God damn, it was a fucking good film.
There you go, 2003. I was close.
Oh yeah, you
found
were.
it.
But
Canadian philosophical comedy drama.
Yeah, and it's got what's his name from Stargate Atlantis?
David Hewlett. Yeah.
He was in everything that he did basically at that time. They were good friends from university, from what I remember.
Oh, because he did Cube. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, I digress. The palace, the graphical artifacts that turn out to be like, I know. I think you can just call it like the entity or something like that. Like, doesn't necessarily have to have a name. Doesn't have to have a purpose necessarily. But it's like you're literally going up against this thing, and I like the idea that
it's the king. It's the zombie king.
You've been searching high and low everywhere, only to realize that you've got a void in your own house, and you just didn't think about it. Like,
or do you have? Is it one of these things?
My
where
closet has incredibly high ceilings.
I like the idea then. Yeah, because I was going to say, it's one of those things where like you have little sections in your own little apartment, in between.
Yeah.
So that the player gets used to it just as the geometry that it is, the space that it is. And yeah, maybe there are like little
Z fighting and all this.
Well, not even that. I just think like maybe there are references to like, oh yeah, but it's got a lot of closet space, like, or something like that. And then finally you open the closet and it goes on like it goes on just like it's like meters and meters and meters.
It's like the line The Witch in the Wardrobe is like,
yeah. You hadn't even questioned it, but
for this time, the void actually goes backwards. It doesn't go high. Like, it's just you part the
coats,
and it's further. Like, it goes in.
Yeah,
and it's when you realize, oh, I've really got to. I'm just imagining they go, I've really got to clear out this closet, and they take all the coats, and it's like, oh. It's a lot deeper than I remember. There's more coats in here than what I seem to remember.
Where did I put my hockey gear? I swear I put it in here. I'll just go in a bit further and see.
And just the idea of when you live in a place, you just don't question it. Like, it's just a quirk of the building.
It's all little quirks. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's fun. I reckon let's do one more.
Oh, there's just something about that. I kind of like the idea.
I do like the idea of sort of uncanny geometry in that way, or like space.
I mean, I keep on coming back to one of my favorite games of all time, Anti-Chamber.
Yeah, I never really played that. I know the gist of it. Yeah,
I put so many fucking hours into that game.
All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Condemning tip.
Hunted example.
Ooh, you're going on a trip through the United States, and you forgot to leave a tip, and now you're being hunted, and condemned for the fact that
so they can make an example of you.
Exactly.
Put you up on. Oh, it's a place that like they've got a wall of shame.
Yeah, but it's literally mounted heads. Like, it's.
Well, I think I was going to say that you see it when you eat there initially.
Yes.
So, and it's just pictures.
It's pictures of people that
they do look very
that have put their head through this. Like, they've got this like head sort of like.
Why would they do it?
Because it's the wall of shame, and it's like it's a thing for this place, but it's actually they've got a room dedicated to all these heads that have been hung. That fake plaque that they've got that you could stick your head through and get your photo taken. That's
it's a guillotine.
Well, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. It is a guillotine.
All right, I'm not sure how the logistics work out of not letting people know that this is a thing, but I like the idea of that. Yes, they are like killing and mounting people's heads for tipping badly in this. Like diner or something, or is it like a fancy restaurant?
Ooh, there's something about like it's the swankiest restaurant in town.
Yeah,
And they still underpay their waiters and
Of
expect
course.
like tips and shit.
Yeah.
And of course, the meals are fucking expensive.
Right.
You know, you had with your family, because I like the fact that this is a family trip. You know, you come in, you and your wife have had like a bottle of wine.
I was going to say as well, are you Aussies? Like, are you from a country that doesn't tip, and that's why you don't know the etiquette?
Yeah. And, you know, you can have just a little thing down the bottom of like the menu that says, you know, 10% tip would be greatly appreciated, or something like that.
Probably 20% if you're actually going realistic. Yeah.
10% minimum. And it's like, I love the idea that maybe the service isn't perfect. Like, it's not great. Like, coming from, as an Australian, like, if I get exceptional service, I will sometimes give a tip.
Yeah. It is very unusual here.
It is very unusual to give tips, but if literally they made the night, like they did amazing work with getting the food out to me, I will, you know, leave some money in the tip jar if they've got one, because it's like the chef did amazing work, like all this sort of stuff, great food. I will happily give a tip, but if I've got a waiter who's totally fucking up my meal, and you know I had to send it back 3 times, you know, just to get what I actually ordered, you know, it may cost a shitload, but I'm not going to tip for that. Like, if they've fucked up my order, and look, I mean, not to get into the whole tipping culture, and it's not actually just culture; it's like a necessity thing in the States. I mean, the benefit here in Australia is our minimum wage is actually...
Our minimum wage is
getting close to
at
livable.
Least closer to livable. and the fact that we have award rates and different things.
Closer.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the game. Yes, I like this idea that it starts and you're eating in this restaurant, or maybe it's like at the end of the meal and you sort of see it play out, and maybe, you know, you get to participate in some of the actions and things.
Your kid sticks his head through the plaque, and you take a funny photo of like, all this sort of stuff, and you see the wall of shame, and you go, oh, what's this about? And it's like, oh, these are the people that are no longer welcome at the restaurants. And it's like, oh, okay. So you humiliate them a bit, and it's like, yeah, they know what they did. And, you know...
Right, so it doesn't make it clear.
Yeah.
Do you get a moment where, like, they bring out the FPOS machine for you to pay, and it comes up, because they don't obviously usually do it here in Australia, but
there is actually a thing there.
There's a thing in there for, like, you it's got the amount, and you click, and it's like, what is your percent tip?
You don't even do the percent tip. It's one of these old machines that actually print it out, and you've got to write it manually on the thing what you actually tip.
My point was going to be that even if you try to do it, your character's just like, what? No, that's ridiculous. Like, we don't tip in Australia. That's a stupid custom or something.
Nah, wasn't exceptional service. I'm not gonna.
Pay your employees better. You know,
I'm much better than you. Okay, and then I'm thinking one child, wife.
Yeah, sure.
Now you're looking for a motel,
right?
Like, you ask, where's the nearest motel, and they say, oh, go down this road. Like, and they literally send you down some back road.
Oh, I like the idea that maybe you go to a motel first and they're about to ring you up, and then you see them, like, look at the screen, and they look at your kid and they're like, oh no, we can't serve you. And you, like, have to move on. And, like, it turns out that the photo of your kid with the wall of shame has been, like, shared around all the local businesses.
Oh,
and it's like...
that's so fucking creepy.
Yeah. And so you eventually find a place that, like, doesn't have internet access or something. So, you know, they haven't got the latest copy of all the photos of the wall of shame, so they don't know that you can't stay there.
They knew that this is the place that you'll end up at.
Oh, right. Okay. It's intentional. Yeah.
And it's a psycho thing of you're at the motel.
Now they're hunting you in the night, basically, like creepy shit happening.
All through like tunnels and shit in the motel.
Oh, God.
kind of like...
You should have tipped 25%.
And the whole thing is that if you get caught, you know, they... it's one of those things of you get taken back to the... restaurant. Like...
It's like, now I'm going to take 25% of you. Takes off one arm. One arm and half your... I don't know. Or a leg or whatever.
I know. I like the idea that maybe it's not till closer to the end that, you know, nothing you can do. You actually get caught and you get taken back there. And
they just hand you the bill again. Do it right this time.
They give you one chance. And like your wife is actually in the plate thing.
Oh god. If you do it, if you do it wrong, it's just like
it drops.
Yeah,
and
then they
and
put
a flash
it in front
goes
of you
off
again.
just as
right,
and it's like it'd just be a shock moment of what the fuck.
Yeah,
that is creepy as all fuck.
That's gruesome.
I love the idea. Just I can almost see, you know. Not hyper realistic graphics, but you know, just
just a not like
an indie 3D.
Yeah.
Not PS1 era.
Like...
It's not.
No. I'm trying to think of comparative.
Not super low poly. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
Someone got access to the Make Human,
the MetaHuman or something. Yeah. Maybe even that's too realistic. I think
sometimes
those are hyper realistic. I think. I know the one. Yeah, but even still, yeah. Well, I think like slightly stylized, but not over the top. And yeah, I'm trying to think of comparative games, but I can't. I'm at a loss. But yeah, I think we know what we mean. That's really cool.
That is. What a cool way to end this with a hyper creepy game.
Yeah. All right, that is it for this episode. If you would like to find all of our other episodes online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm and check them all out.
If you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance of the Containment Failure by the band Dust. You can find it on Bandcamp. Just don't spend money, especially not over $600, because it turns out that if you spend over $600 on Bandcamp in a year, you have to pay US federal taxes. So fuck that. It's a new thing that Bandcamp introduced.
God, bureaucracy.
Oh, it's not good.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. And I'm the Blob. Blah.
Blub.